Hello and welcome to another episode. I am Brian, the Unskilled Commander, and this is the road to 100. That's right, this is episode 97 of the Unskilled Commander's gameplay videos, and we are on our way to number 100. So in honor of that, starting at 95, if you haven't already watched them, we are doing, instead of my normal best of 3 matches, we are doing a gauntlet style. The winner of each round stays where they are, the other decks change out, and we'll see who can go the farthest and who can win it all at episode 100. Episode 95 and 96 were both won by Imodane, so we'll see how well she can keep doing. Now against Azuri, Claw of Progress, Krenko, Tin Street, Kingpin, and Harbin, Vanguard, Aviate. Now I know what some of you may think if you know my decks. You're like, well, wait a second, Brian, you're pitting one of your best decks against ever decreasing strengths, because we went with my strongest and we're continuing that. These are the next batch of strongest, and they're getting weaker as they go. Yes, that does theoretically give Imodane a bit of a advantage, but there really wasn't any other way to do it, because if I started with my weaker decks, then the weaker decks would certainly just constantly get kicked out for the next batch. So theoretically, there was no super easy way of doing it, and I thought this was taking my start with my 4 best, see if any of them can last more than a couple rounds and who can go the longest. So we'll see. I'm excited to keep going with this. It's been a lot of fun. The episodes have actually been really short, which is surprising, and I hope you guys are enjoying it and watching. Please subscribe, bells, likes, all that junk, blah blah. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors. Let's get my numbers up so we can try and raise more money when I do charity streams on Twitch, over on the Twitch channel there, if you want to give that a follow as well. But let's do some gameplay. I rolled the dice already. Krenko, the goblins over here, are going to go first. That could be bad. We're going to draw for turn. We're going to play a mountain. Nothing we can do with 1 mana, so we'll pass. Draw over here. Play an island, still nothing, we will pass. Draw at the impressive Imodane, play a mountain, but nothing we can do here, and we will pass. We're just chugging along. And as you may have noticed, we are showing all of the turns again. I still have to wait until the episodes actually air, where I skip the first 5 turns to see if there's any kind of feedback, positive or negative. And I thought for the road to 100, we would just bring it back to basics, as the channel has mostly done, and we will just record the whole thing instead of skipping turns. Which is good, because as we saw, last game, episode 96, ended on turn 7, so if I had skipped the first 5, you wouldn't have seen hardly anything. So we draw over here. We'll play a Blighted Woodlands. Taps 4 colorless, but you can pay 4 and tap it to sacrifice and go get 2 basic land cards on the battlefield tapped. We will go ahead and pass. Turn 2. Draw for turn. Play a mountain. A lot of 3-drops in my hands. Actually, mostly 3-drops, but nothing I can play. So we're going to go ahead and pass. Of course, Krenko is a 3-drop as well, so I mean, it's going to be... Krenko could take this one, because goblins are notoriously fast. Anyway, so we draw over here. Play a plains. We're going to go ahead and tap both to play Harbin, Vanguard, Aviator. Let's get him out early. It's a 3/2 flyer. Whenever you attack with 5 or more soldiers, all creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain flying until end of turn. That's all we can do though, so we're going to pass. Untap, upkeep, draw. Play a mountain. Tapping both mountains for a ruby medallion. We saw a different version of this last game, different color, but this one says red spells you cast cost 1 less to cast, so that's going to help. That's all we can do. We will pass. Untap, upkeep, draw. Going to play Rimewood Falls. Unfortunately, that comes in tapped, so there's nothing we can really do. We're going to pass. Go turn 3. Draw for turn. Play a mountain for turn, tapping all 3. And go ahead and bring out Krenko. Yep, we got to be aggressive with these games. That's the whole point. I was going to, I have a Commander Sphere in my hand. I could play that and have a little bit more mana, but nope. We got to get him out so that he can start swinging as soon as possible before everybody gets a blocker. So we're going to pass. Untap. Upkeep, draw for turn, play a land over here, tapping 2 to play Valiant Veteran, a 2/2 that says other soldiers get +1/+1, and I can pay 5, exile it from the graveyard, and put a counter on each soldier I control. But now that I have a blocker, we will go ahead and swing the 3/2 flyer at you, because you are clearly, well, you're not clearly the threat, but goblins are a threat. And once Krenko starts popping them out or whatever, it could be a mess. But that is all we can do there. We will go ahead and pass to Imodane. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn, play a mountain. Red spells cost 1 less. 1, 2, 3. Imodane, the Pyro Hammer. 4/4. Whenever an instant or sorcery spell I control targets a single creature and deals damage to it, Imodane deals that much damage to each opponent. We saw her do that to devastating effect last game, where she was hitting the opponents for 90 damage and winning the game on turn 7. Very awesome to see. I'd love to see her do that in the game against actual people, but regardless, we will pass. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. Maybe a bad move, but we're going to go ahead and Evolving Wilds into a forest. Tapped. And under normal circumstances, based on the commander, I would wait to play a creature, but we don't want Krenko getting in. So we're going to go ahead and tap a green and 1 other to play Canker Bloom. It's a 3/2. I can pay 1 and sacrifice Canker Bloom to destroy an artifact or an enchantment or proliferate. We're going to go ahead and pass turn to turn 4 over here. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. play another play a snow-covered mountain. So now, thankfully, everyone does have blockers, so Krenko can't go completely crazy. I think we'll go ahead and tap 1, 2, 3 for Hordling Outburst. Put 3 1/1 red goblin creature tokens on the battlefield. Now, we can swing. We have a 1/2 versus, yeah, everybody can definitely kill Krenko. Even when he gets the counter, he would be a 2/3. That's true. All right, so we're going to move to combat, and we're going to swing Krenko at you. When Krenko, I didn't even read it off, my apologies. He's a 1/2. When Krenko the Tin Street Kingpin attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Then create a number of 1/1 red goblin creature tokens equal to Krenko's power. So we're going to swing with him. He's going to get 1 counter, so he is now a 2/3, and that makes 2 more gobos. You can either take the 2 commander damage or block it, but your Valiant Veteran would die. So I guess we're going to go ahead and take the 2 for the first damage of the game. Actually, it's not. That makes sense. Why wouldn't we attack back anyway? We have 1 mana up, nothing we can do with it, but we do have 5 goblin 1/1s to block with and do things, so that's pretty impressive. Pass turn. Everyone may be looking to Imodane to deal with that while it's like, you know what, Imodane, I know you win a lot, but how about you take care of that nonsense? We're going to untap, upkeep, draw for turn. I'm going to put Port Town into play. You may reveal a plains or an island. Here's an island, so it comes in untapped. We're going to go ahead and tap 1, 2, 3, 4 and play Keeper of the Accord. Beginning of each opponent's end step, if that player contains more creatures or controls more creatures than you, make a 1/1 soldier. Beginning of each opponent's end step, if that player controls more lands, go look for a basic plains and put it on the battlefield tapped. That's probably not going to be a thing. Well, it will. Basically, we'll get lands and creatures off of goblins at the end of their turn, but nobody else's. We're going to move to combat, though, and we're absolutely going to swing in the air at you again. Wait, I thought I swung in the air at you the first time. I did not. 1, 2, 3, then 1, 2, 3. Yeah, but then we're going to have to go 1, 2, 3. Okay. Yeah, we didn't actually mark it down as commander damage the first time, which we need to. Yes, okay, now we're back. I actually didn't give him the right damage the first time off of Harbin anyway. The goblins have only been attacked by Harbin twice, which was a 4/3 in the air, so it's 8 damage at 32. That's correct. That's all we can do. We're going to pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw. And I think we're going to go ahead and start this because people are already lower. Let's do it. Oh, it costs 1 less. Descent into Avernus. Imodane's got other tricks up her sleeves, boyos. It's an enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, put 2 descent counters on a Descent into Avernus. Then each player creates X treasure tokens, and Descent into Avernus deals X damage to each player, where X is the number of descent counters on Descent into Avernus. Really fun card. I love this. I want to put it in every red deck just because it's goofy. Some people hate it. Not a lot, but some people hate it. But I like it because it speeds up the game, but gives everyone options because now they have a ton of treasure tokens. So if you're not able to play your spells in your hand, then there's something else going on. We do have 1 mana up. Spells cost 1 less, but fortunately nothing that we can really do with that 1 mana. We do need to get some lands. Imodane can swing, but then when she would be open to a goblin horde, so we're not going to do that. We're going to pass. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. Going to play an island, then tap all 3 to play Zuri, Claw of Progress. Or all 4. Whenever a creature with power 2 or less enters the battlefield under my control, I get an experience counter. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put X counters on another target creature you control, where X is the number of experience counters you have. I don't really want to swing the Cankerbloom. We need as many blockers as we can. We're going to go ahead. Now, what I'd like to do on next turn is play a land, Crack Blighted Woodland, to get 2 more lands on the battlefield, and then have a whole bunch to play a whole bunch of things on the following turn. However, because these games are moving so quickly, that's probably not going to be a good idea. We're going to pass turn. Untap onto turn 5. Upkeep, draw. Oops, untap. You're going to play War Room. Taps for colorless, or you can pay 3 and pay life equal to the number of colors in your commander's color identity and draw a card. So basically, it's in a monocolor deck. It's pay 3 mana, pay 1 life, and draw a card. I think we'll do 1, 2, 3 to play Command Sphere, then 1, 2, 3 to play Rummaging Goblin. So 1/1, I can tap it, discard a card to draw a card. It's just another 1/1 on the field to hopefully block, and now we had a little bit of a artifact ramp there. So what are we looking at? If we attack with Krenko, we get another counter going to 3, 4. Unfortunately, now, here's the problem. Everybody can stack block and kill it, because everyone's got more than... And Imodane is 1 creature, but she's a 4/4, so she could definitely take out Krenko. And see, here is where the problem is, because now we don't have any other way to get Krenko through currently. I'm sure there's a Rogue's Passage in here somewhere, and some other stuff that might help get him through, but nothing in my hand. I could swing with 5 goblins, but that would only do 3 to 4 damage, and then we'd lose some. So we're going to go ahead and have him back and pass. The hyper-aggression is no longer valid, so we're going to untap over here, upkeep, at their end step. They definitely had more creatures than us, the soldiers. So we're going to make a 1/1 white soldier. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, they did have more lands than us, so we get a plains on the battlefield tapped. So that would then, this is all at their end step. And then we would then, of course, untap it all. So that's really good. So now we can play an island for turn. We didn't draw yet, so I draw a card for turn. Just a land, that's fine. We'll tap 1, 2, 3 and play Bastion Protector. It's a 3/3. Commander creatures you control get +2/+2 and have it indestructible. Then we're going to tap these 3 to play our own command sphere. Then we will move to combat. So Vanguard Harbin is a 3/4/5/6 in the air. I think we're going to go ahead and, well, Descent in the Avernus I'm not overly concerned with because that's just going to give us mana. It will ding us, but it's going to hurt everybody. It's not just going to hurt me. However, that's an excellent point. Because Descent into Avernus is going to hurt everybody, we should start spreading that out so that everyone's going down. I'm going to send that 6 at you. It might be a bad idea to not go after goblins again, but 3, 4, 5, 6. There. That's all we can do. There's no end step triggers for us. We're going to pass turn. Okay, untap, upkeep. We're going to put 2 counters on Descent into Avernus. Everyone is going to lose 2 life and get 2 treasure tokens. Red spells cost 1 less, so I'm going to use the 2 treasures to cast Gutter Snipe. A 2/2. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, it deals 2 damage to each opponent. I'll then tap 3 for my own commander sphere over here. 1 mana. Unfortunately, I don't have enough to do anything with that, but we're setting ourselves up. We're still maintaining and we're still doing damage thanks to Descent into Avernus, although we are one of the lowest ones now, so we have to be careful. Although most likely, the way I would play things is on this turn, on the next soldier's turn, I'll definitely swing with everything because then it would all get flying and buffed. I would probably send Harbin at you to knock you down really low and then try and smack somebody else. But we'll see. That's all we can do here. We're going to pass turn. So now we're going to untap, upkeep, draw for turn. I'm going to play an island for turn. And the nice thing is we do now, in fact, have those treasures, which is definitely going to help me. So we're going to tap 2 and play Malikator's Watcher. It's a 1/1 flying vigilance, and when it dies, draw a card. But that is a creature with power 2 or less, so we get an experience counter. Going to tap 1 and use the 2 treasures to then cast Benthic Infiltrator, a 1/4 with Devoid and Injust. When this creature deals damage to a player, that player exiles the top card of the library, and it can't be blocked. So that's a power 2 or less. That's going to go up again. I have 2 mana left. Regrettably, nothing I can do creature-wise, but I will tap 1 blue to Ponder. Look at the top 3 cards of your library, put them back in any order you may shuffle, and you draw a card. And I'll actually just put them back in pretty much the order they were. Draw a card. Sets me up for next turn, relatively decent. Now I move to the beginning of combat. I'm then going to put 2 experience counters, move them, well not move them, but copy them sort of, onto the Infiltrator. So it gets +2/+2. Again, I don't want to swing just yet. The idea over here with Azuri is, of course, unblockable, and if I can't get unblockables, then flying to get past everybody and deal lots of damage, because play a bunch of really low-cost creatures, ideally, and then ramp him up really good, or ramp that experience counters up, dump it onto an unblockable creature, smacking for, double digits. We're going to pass. Untap over here, turn 6, draw a card. It's a land, that's not bad. We'll play a land. Tap 3 to play Quarrel's End. It's a sorcery. It's an additional cost to this. Discard a card. I'm going to go ahead and discard Breaking of the Fellowship. Draw 2 cards and create a 1/1 white human creature token. That was bad and good because it was both lands, but that means we would have wasted the next 2 turns drawing lands, so hopefully that speeds it up. We still have 4 mana, so I will use that 4 mana to play Goblin Raise Runners. It's a 3/4. Pay 2, sacrifice a land, put a +1/+1 counter on Raise Runner, and at the beginning of my end step, you may have Raise Runner deal damage equal to the number of +1/+1 counters on it to target player or planeswalker. Regrettably, well, you know what we are going to do? We're going to tap this to discard one of these lands and then draw a card. Okay, not a land, but not super helpful right now. Well, we don't have any open mana anyway. Oh, wait, I do. 2 treasures. Not enough, though. That's fine. Yeah, see, Goblins is formidable if it can get through. We're unfortunately stalling out now because Krenko can't get in anywhere. Yes, I could just attack to get the trigger and make 3 more Goblins, but then Krenko would die, and I do have enough to recast, I suppose. So that's not necessarily a bad strategy. I guess that's probably what we do. We're going to go to combat. It's going to go uptick, so 2. It's going to make 3 more, so we'll put this at 5 of these ones. And it's going to a 3/4 headed were. Doesn't really matter. So I guess at Imodane, it's a 3/4. She'll block it with a 4/4. Krenko dies, now needs 2 more mana to cast next turn. But we do have quite a bit of blockers. I still have 2 treasures that will hopefully go up. Well, not hopefully, it will go up. Unless, of course, someone blew up Descent into Avernus with enchantment removal. But we're going to pass. And believe me, there's people that will do that simply because they'll let it go a couple rounds, get a bunch of stuff out using the treasures, and then when they start to get a little low, it's like, okay, we're done. At their end step, they definitely have more creatures than me. So that's another soldier. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They do not have more lands than me, so I don't get an extra planes. Then we draw a card for turn. I will play the Fair Baliska. It does come in tapped. I have 2 of those. So what I'm going to do is pay 2 mana to play Anticipate. Look at the top 3 cards of my library, put one of them into my hand, the rest on the bottom in any order. Guess we'll put this in the hand and put these on the bottom in any order. And sure, we're going to go ahead and tap 2. Well, no, so we can't play that just yet. We're going to tap 2. Play Coppercoat Vanguard. Each other human you control gets +1/+0 and has Ward 1. Very cool. This one, and these are humans. This guy right here is not. So 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's perfect because then we can use these 2 to hold back for blockers. We're going to move to combat. Now, first of all, let's think about how much damage we have on board. Wow, an impressive amount. We have about 28 damage on board if we swung everything. Not enough to kill anybody, but enough to get people... Ooh, that's true. If we swung most of it at goblins, then Descent into Avernus would probably kill them. Like, I was hoping to get them down to like 4 life, because then that would hit for 4, but there's no way to easily do that with the... So what we're going to do instead is we're just going to spread the love a little bit and try and get everybody lower. I'm going to move to combat. I'm going to swing these 5 creatures, which then activates Harbin's ability. They all get +1/+1 and have flying. Oh, you do have flyers, though. You have 1 flyer that can block. So we're going to send... It's true, and Harbin doesn't have trample. He just has flying. Darn, that's true. All right, so Harbin is going to go at you. He's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then I'm going to send these 2 soldiers, which are 3 2s in the air, at you. You're going to have to take one of you 3. You could block with that, buy yourself some time, probably because whenever it dies, you do draw a card. So we'll put this in front of it, die, and they'll draw a card. And then these 2 flyers are going at goblins. 4, 5, 6, 12. There you go. We got 2 guys on the ground to block with. We still have 2. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana open. Actually, I think we're going to use those 2 and these 2 to cast Behold the Multiverse. Scry 2, then draw 2. Okay, I'll put this one here, put this on the bottom, and then draw 2. That's pretty good. That was a good move. Glad I scried that one to the bottom, because it was just a land. All right, that was a pretty solid turn. We're going to go ahead and pass turn. Untap, upkeep. We're going to get 2 more counters over here. Everyone is taking 4 damage, and then everyone makes 4 treasure tokens, if they didn't already use them all. This person now has 6 treasure tokens. That's pretty cool, because they didn't use them. All right, what can we do with 4 manners? Tap 1, then we're going to go 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So X equals 7. Crater's Claw for 7, targeting Harbin. It's going to deal X damage to target creature or player. And actually, Crater's Claw deals X +2 damage to that creature or player instead. If you control a creature with power 4 or greater, I do. So it's going to deal 9 damage to Harbin, which definitely kills him, and he costs 2 more to cast. But more importantly, well, first of all, I cast an instant sorcery spell. So everyone's going to take, all my opponents are going to take 2 damage, which is very good. Then they're all going to take 9 damage. Boom. Excellent hit. Actually, right, Ruby Medallion says red spells cost 1 less to cast, so I believe that can filter into the X, which means it's technically 1 more damage. But that's all we can do. Very solid hit, very good turn. We're going to pass. So I don't know. Imodane might pull it off again. Now that was an X spell. They don't necessarily have those many X spells left. We're going to go over here. We're going to untap. This is part of our hand. Upkeep, draw. No upkeep triggers. We'll play another island for turn. I'll tap a green and a blue to play Marrowleaf Pixie. Gets in there. I get an experience counter. It's a flying. Tap it to add green or blue. I'm going to use 3 of the treasures to play Latch Seeker. Get another experience counter. It's 3/1. Latch Seeker is unblockable. I will then use these 2 and the last treasure to cast Phantom Ninja. Get another experience counter. Phantom Ninja can't be blocked. I still have 2 mana left, but nothing I can do with that right now, unfortunately. Or is it? Actually, that costs 1 less to cast. If I control a creature with flying, I do. So I will tap these to play Winged Words. Costs 1 less to cast for flyers, and we're going to draw 2 cards. 1, 2. Excellent. Very helpful. Now we're going to move to the beginning of our combat step. We're going to put those 5 counters onto the Infiltrator. It is now an 8/12 or something like that with unblockable. So as you can see, I got 3 unblockables right now and 1 flyer. So we're going to move to combat. Now the question is, where do we go? Goblins isn't necessarily a threat. If they don't gain life, they're dead on the Descent into Avernus upkeep. Imodane just clearly showed it was a threat. However, we don't know if they have another one of those around. They are going to be able to recast their commander and swing with 5 creatures, and one of those 5 creatures doesn't have to be the commander. As long as he's on the field, it triggers. So they can still do a lot of damage again, and everyone is definitely within range. I don't know. I don't want to give it to Imodane again. That's the problem. But we can't think of it like that. We can't base each game on past games. We have to literally play it our own way. So I'm going to go to combat and swing an unblockable 8 at you. Fortunately, that's all I can do. We're going to pass over to here to turn 7. Surprisingly, these games are moving along pretty quick, but of course that's what Descent into Avernus does for sure. Untap all of this. I drew a land. I will play a land. I think we're going to go ahead and tap these 3 to play Hobgoblin Bandit Lord. It's a 2/3. Other goblins get +1/+1. You can pay a red and tap it. Hobgoblin Bandit Lord deals damage equal to the number of goblins that enter the battlefield under your control this turn to any target. Of course, it doesn't have haste or anything, so it can't be done. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I do have enough to recast Krenko. I don't know. Well, you know what? I don't know that Krenko's super important right now. We're going to tap 3 instead to play Flick a Coin, deals 1 damage to any target. We create a treasure token. Just put this up. Oh, I forgot all about these. And then you draw a card. So that's even better. So obviously, 3, 4, 5. We're going to use 5 of the 7 down to 2 and recast Krenko, of course. And we have, oh, that's awesome. We'll use the last 2 to play Goblin Aura Flame. Attacking creatures you control get +1/+0. And we have 2 mana left. Nothing we can really do with that. I'm going to tap, well, okay, these 2 have Summoning Sickness. The rest do not. And they're actually getting some good buffs, so we don't want to waste that. You got 11 creatures, which essentially 11 creatures, if they're all 1/1s, they would be, that's 30-some damage, 33 damage. That's enough to kill any one character if it got through. And Goblin Raise Runners is a 3/4, getting the buff as well, so that's even. Question once more is, where do we swing it? Goblins can't assume they're going to live. There's just no way. Descent into Avernus is going to kill them no matter what. So it would be foolish for anyone to kill Imodane until Descent into Avernus kicks and takes out, well, not foolish, but I mean, and Imodane could do a lot of damage as well. They've got multiple unblockables they can get through and kill us. They've got flyers that can get through and kill us, and they've got Descent into Avernus. So there is no way that we survive. So we don't want to, once again, we don't want to give it to somebody else either. But we are going to move to combat, and we're definitely going to swing the board for sure. Absolutely. We're going to swing Goblin Raise Runner, which is a 3, 4, 5 something, 5/5 I think, at Imodane. Then, all right, so these 5 are going at Azuri. We're going to send, we're going to send the rest at Imodane. Well, wait, maybe not the full rest. Hang on. These 6. Here we go. So these 5 at Imodane, these 6 at Azuri. That way something gets through, and therefore Descent into Avernus does more damage. Goblin Raise Runner is a 5/5, as we said. We're going to block that with Gutter Snipe. Gutter Snipe's going to die. This is 1, 2, 3 something. We'll block the Rummaging Goblin with Imodane. She'll destroy that. However, that's still 3, 6, 9. Damn, she's fine. One more time. But no, that's going to be 9 damage. Sorry you had to hear that. 9 damage gets through to Imodane. Then over here, we're sending 5, 6 3/3s at you, meaning that you have to block a bunch of them, because otherwise you would also die on Descent into Avernus. All right, we've got a 3/2, so we will block one of the goblins. This one dies, but so does Cankerbloom. Azuri is a 3/3, but I really don't want to get rid of him, so we'll block. Actually, they're 3/2s. They're 3/2s, so Maraleaf Pixie will block 1 and kill it down to 4. And then I think we'll go ahead and use the Phantom Ninja to block another one down to 3. So that's again 9, taking us to 10. There's our blockers. I think second main phase, we're going to sacrifice Commander Sphere to draw a card. Not that it matters. And then we'll pass. All right, so goblins definitely came back and did some damage, just wasn't enough. So we untap over here, upkeep, draw for turn. So I'm going to sacrifice these 4 treasures to play, well, wait a second. Yeah, we're going to play Roaming Throne, declaring soldiers. Then we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4 to recast Harbin. So these 2 have Summoning Sickness, these ones don't. However, the good point is that Roaming Throne is going to copy Harbin's triggered ability once it goes, so they're all going to get +2/+2 in flying. So that might be enough, because your flyers are gone. All right, so we're going to send Keeper of the Accord, 1 soldier at you, Bastion Protector, and 1 soldier at you, and then Coppercoat at you. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Phew, gotta make sure that you're doing 5. So now they all get flying and +2/+2 thanks to Harbin and Roaming Throne. Keeper of the Accord is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which means Bastion Protection is the same thing. So these are 7s, and the soldiers become 1, 2, 3, 4, 5s. So 7 and 5, that's 12. Sorry, Imodane, your first loss. Boom, boom. And then, of course, this human is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the air at you. Boom, there you go. One fell swoop. That was a closer game. Descent into Avernus obviously helped speed it up a little bit, but that's what the card is for. It's why I like it. But there you go. Episode 97. Your winner is Harbin, Vanguard Aviator. Harbin will now be moving on. The other 3 decks will be changed out for different ones for next episode. Sorry, Imodane, but you did an amazing job those first 2 games, and this one was still pretty solid too. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoy the rest of the road to 100, and you stick around past that for whatever the Unskilled Commander channel has to offer. Check us out here on YouTube and Twitch as well. Subscribe, all that stuff, and I will see you next time.